Welcome back, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium free crypto update. Today we're looking at Solana and FTX exchange, focusing on their tokens Sol and FTT. Today's video I'm going to focus primarily on FTT, but also give an update for Sol. Of course, these two have been absolutely blowing up. And before you get triggered with the dislikes and the comments, this is not a clickbait video. I have titled it something to do with FTT at $900 or $1,000, but you'll see in the video why I am looking at that. And this is based on a ton of research. And no, this is not going to happen tomorrow or in the next hour or in a week or maybe not even in this section of the cycle, okay? I'm a long-term investor. I suspect many people that are watching the channel are also long-term investors, or at least they say they are. However, they want to day trade or trade short-term to try and make gains and then sell and buy back at lower prices. But my premise here is a long-term position looking at these projects. So if that is not part of your strategy and you just want to trade in and out day to day, week to week, month to month, then yes, you might think that $900 is a clickbait title. I don't think FTT will hit $900 in this section of the cycle. However, I do think it'll do very, very well. We'll look at those details in the video, but I think I just need to make a very clear disclaimer at the beginning of the video that no, it's not clickbait. Yes, I do think FTT will hit 900 based on specific reasons. So with that said, disclaimers out of the way, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button as you jump onto the video so that YouTube knows you want to see more of this content in your news feeds. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Bell notification icon there are about 30% of people watching the videos that aren't subscribed. How could you? Anyhow, if you don't find any value from the video, then you can always unsubscribe later. It is free to do so. So the few things I want to look at today: Solana, FTT, and a couple of these items here. Strong horses. I believe the strong horses will always win in the end. Even though they didn't fall as much as some of the other cryptocurrencies, they have the potential to shoot up harder for my American viewers, than the cryptos which fell really hard, and people believe that they should be buying up something super low because it can rocket from that point. Now, everyone's going to get some gains at some point. This is a bull market, a crypto bull market. So you can basically throw a dart at any of these cryptos and you're going to make some money. But the ones I look at are the ones I want to spend my time on focusing more on the fundamentals, because I don't want to spend my time on a ton of these little projects. I just want to find some really good, strong horses that I believe are going to do well in the long run and focus my energy on those cryptos. The other thing is the comments, some low IQ comments. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. These projects are in the tens of billions of dollars. Yes, I talk about them. Yes, I hold them. Yes, they're also in the demo portfolio, which you can find a link to in the description. Well, they're linked to SwiftX, which is where the demo portfolio is that I hold. You can also start your own demo portfolio there in case you're unfamiliar with the markets and you're a little bit worried about how the markets might go. But no, I can't shill my bags and pump the markets up because there is billions of daily traded volume. Unless you believe that everyone watching this video has millions of dollars that could pump the market, then maybe, sure, we could shill these bags up. But the coins that you're going to look at that are going to be shilled are coins that have low daily traded volume. That just means that there isn't much money circulating through that coin. These have a lot of money circulating through that coin. The other comment that comes up often is these are VC scams. There's a lot of money put in here by venture capitalists and don't get involved in them, etc. I thought I'd just mention this at the beginning of the video. At the end of the day, there are going to be projects which are funded by VCs and others that aren't. And it's up to you to decide whether that's something you want to be involved in or not. I think personally that these two projects in particular are going to do quite well in the long run. Of course, that's my decision, my opinion. You're here to watch that. If you have other ideas about it, of course, go away and research those. Overall, my view is long-term strong. So my outlook for both of these projects is long-term strong, but in the short term, it does look like a bit of a bubbly trend is setting up. So it's bubbly at the moment because we are just skyrocketing. Can this stop in the next hour? Sure. Could it go on for another week or month? That's also possible. I don't know what will happen from that point. I'm happy to admit that, but I follow up with my risk and reward metrics when it comes to trading these markets. So I feel like I've got a good chunk of the disclaimers out of the way, in particular the not clickbait title, and enough has been said. Let's get across into the video. If you want to learn more about trading and investing, check out the Patreon group down below. The $39 per month just sold out last night, so thank you to all of the supporters there. The next level we had just included or just created is 49, because previously we had 59. But anyone that's subscribed to 59 can cancel and drop to 49 straight away. So we did this because this had a lot of demand. So if you are interested, check out the comments down below. 49 per month, learn more about investing and trading with the Investor Accelerator. All right, so these videos came up on the channel a couple of months ago now. We were looking at particularly FTT and finding top altcoins for the crypto bull. I was looking at strong markets in a time where I was not interested in a lot of other altcoins because I saw them dropping really heavily against their Bitcoin value. Now, of course, we're here to talk about FTT and Sol, but this was around that time in the market that I wasn't comfortable in investing in stuff like basically just buying up everything. There was a lot of talk around just getting VET and Matic and Theta and anything else you could imagine that had already pumped really, really hard in that first stage of the bull market. And I'm looking at coins, very few that are going to do well long term. And sometimes we pick them, sometimes we don't. In this case, FTT has done very well. Solana has done very well. Of course, everyone's favorite, ADA, has also done very well. And ETH, as one of the big players, has done extremely well as well. And there are, of course, many others. You guys might have those. The likes of Luna and AVAX have done well. But the main thing is strong horses. So FTX, currently at $80. As I started putting this video together, it was sitting at around $75 or $77. So it's continuing to go up. I don't know what price this is going to be at. It was there. It was at 75 when I started filming, and this is a live price. So by the time this video comes out, I don't know. I don't know where this could be at the moment, but $80 is around the price. It's very volatile at the moment. Here it is, straight up. This is what I'm looking at. I have referenced this before. I think it's a fantastic post. It's on Twitter from Adam Cochran. It's dated the 13th of April, so nearly 5 months ago. And this has been reasonably, well, actually, it's been accurate up until this point. It does need more time to basically play out in the markets. But just so we can get an idea of where we're going with these pricings, this non-clickbait, $900 per FTT, Adam is looking at a 3-year target. That might be too much for some people. I get it. But where I'm coming from and how I invest is I'm looking at stronger projects that I want to hold longer term. I think about getting Binance 3 years ago. If that was, a few bucks, or even when it came out, it was less than $1, and now it finds itself into the hundreds of dollars. I have to be prepared to wait that period. I'm happy to wait that period. Some coins will go up way faster than that. But as the type of investor that I am, I'm happy to wait for these coins for that period of time. And I think this is being overly conservative as well. So Adam talks about the differences between FTT and Coin and uses Coin as an example here. So Coin is the stock of Coinbase. And these numbers that he's come up with give a potential 18x return from FTT. And at the time, FTT was trading at around $50. So as you can see, we're now at $80. But it wasn't too long ago, it was only a few weeks ago that FTT was trading between $45 and sort of $55. So making the exceptions, looking at these numbers, this gives it around an 18 times from that point of about $50, $55 to get to that $1,000 per FTT. And he runs that up over about a 3-year period. So there's a lot of information here. I'll cut to some of these other points of how this could come about. And he's looking at the overall revenue from the volume is about 6.6 times lower than Coinbase. So this is the revenue for FTX, driven by the fact that their average take rate fee is 0.02. So that's for FTX. So when people are trading on the markets, the average rate is about 0.02. Whereas Coinbase, their blended take fee averages averaging out to 0.54. So about 0.5% for all the transactions that go through Coinbase. And the point that he's making here is that now FTX has acquired Blockfolio, which is now known as FTX app. The fees can now increase. So they are looking to increase that make-take fee, because on a retail app, those fees are generally a lot higher than they are on a leveraged trading app. So this is the tweet that I was just referencing. If the average fee blended rate on FTX shifted from 0.02 to 0.087, which is roughly what I estimate Binance's average fee is, and is still 6.2 lower than Coinbase, then I think with a very conservative growth, very conservative, of greater than 20%, we'd be looking around 440 per FTT after 3 years. Of course, I've got the video here at around a 900. And the next tweet goes on to say, if they manage to resolve the brand impact, non-US, non-tax-free account penalties, increase their average fee with mainstream users, which they are doing at a rapid pace with buying Blockfolio and turning it into FTX app, and keep growing at a slowing rate of 50% off previous year's growth each year, then 3 years would be in the $935 per FTT range. This is wild to me. Looking at it around $50, getting somewhere around $1,000, there's a 20x over 3 years. I get it. People don't want that. They don't want to have the patience and wait for that sort of thing. They'd rather look for some sort of NFT that they're going to get 20x on now. That's great too. I just don't specialize in that sort of thing. I'd rather look at companies and understand how that they could actually get there. That makes more sense in my mind. And for example, NFTs don't necessarily make that much sense. And I think that goes across the board. They just boom to some particular price. And if you don't get out in time, you're probably going to be left holding a worthless JPEG. Further down, we can look at some of the volumes and comparing this to Binance. So 9 trillion in trade volume sounds crazy. So this is for FTT at the time. Until you remember, then should be that Binance is on pace to do about 39 trillion in trade volume in the forward-looking year. So that's about 4.5 times more. Meaning if FTX official, so the FTX exchange, can get 23% of the volume of Binance over the next 3 years. And look, now we're starting to see a lot of that regulation come through for Binance, and that's starting to slow some things down, whereas FTX has got a lot of the regulation in place and they are growing quite quickly. So you're starting to get that change in exchange that people are using, and improve their fee through Blockfolio, which they are also doing. This is nice to read at 5 months on. They've definitely done that. They have rebranded it to FTX app. It'll still be one of the cheapest in the industry. Then nearly 1,000 per FTT is possible with full dilution, because FTX is not fully diluted yet, in 3 years. But 500 plus FTT is conservative. I think that's extremely conservative, especially what we're seeing now. But at the time, we didn't have that on the chart for FTT. It wasn't booming like it is right now. There's a small update a couple of days later. If you update the model to account for Coinbase's price, so Coin at $88 billion market cap midday, then this model predicts $60, which we are at roughly today, showing this accuracy, and 266 to 564 in the next 3 years very easily. So this was quite accurate at the time. We're seeing an explosion at the moment. So I suspect this is going to be very conservative and it'll get blown away, provided we don't get an extremely terrible Bitcoin bear market and it just goes on for a few years after this recent pump, and the market tanks and we're sort of waiting around for a few years. In that case, if FTT is still taking in the volume, I think there still has the possibility to continue to increase. We saw Binance do that through 2018. The volume that they were bringing through their exchange was still increasing. People were still trading during a bear market. So 5 months on from these posts, it really does look like FTX is taking those steps to gain the market adoption, to take volume from other exchanges, to continue growing their brand and their products and their reach across all of the markets with their marketing. So obviously that's getting me a lot more excited. Got to keep my head about myself, especially through the bubbly times. And we'll see that on the chart in just a moment. But I want to cover just some of the fresh news and then move on to Solana. But before we do, today's sponsor is New Brighton Capital. Check out the link down below for the Aussies with their superannuation, wanting to invest in cryptocurrency, metals, or property. Check out the link down below, booking your free 20-minute consultation. You can use the referral code PAZZINO and you'll get $150 free credit when you complete your SMSF application. So if you're interested in getting your super out of the old school super funds and managing it yourself, check out the link down below, give them a call and they'll help you from that point. Now, just before we get to today's news, I wanted to correct something I said in the video about a month ago. I mentioned something about FTX and Binance still having their partnership, but in fact, that was incorrect. Thank you for you guys in the comments that had mentioned that. Sam Bankman-Fried, why I bought back Binance shares in FTX. This was out a few weeks earlier to that. And essentially, it looks like, although it wasn't said specifically, it probably had something to do with the regulations coming down on Binance and then possibly not wanting to be involved with that as FTX continues to grow and Binance remains stable from what we can see. So that's just a little correction on my thoughts when it came to the partnership of FTX and Binance. In fact, FTX has bought back their shares from Binance and they continue to grow. Now on to today's news and a quick update here. Make your own NFTs with FTX. So here it is, ftx.us NFTs list. All NFTs will be cross-chain, ETH and SOL. Deposits, withdrawals opening up in the next couple of weeks. You'll also be able to deposit outside NFTs then. So the other thing that came up while they were getting this NFTs on board now costs a flat $10 per NFT to mint them. Now upfront cost, we're refunding all the 500s paid. So this was to hopefully reduce fish-related spam while also making it affordable. So people have come across and started to spam the network with fish NFTs. They've implemented a cost and then they'll continue to reduce that while they fix the error. But at least they're getting into NFTs now. So again, for me, this just looks like they are really putting their hands in all of the pies. But not only that, they're doing it very well. So let's check out FTT on the charts. And I've asked a question at the beginning of the video. Is it too late to be getting into FTT? Well, we can see it's in a rocket ship right now. It's at $81. What has happened in the past when FTT's gone through its rocket ship? Well, it's done that from about $3 or $2.50 or so up to the point of $36. So that gives it a very healthy increase. That is at around 1,000% return. So after that point, it had the correction around 30%. And if you were just to look at getting in from there, from the correction, the next leg up to the all-time high, if you managed to buy the bottom, sell the top, was at about 150%. So you can see that there was the diminishing returns were well and truly there. There just wasn't as much left in it once the rocket ship had taken off. So does that mean we should be waiting for a reset? Personally, that's the way I like to trade the markets. Obviously, my long-term outlook is at around $900 to $1,000 at least. I think that might even be conservative for that period of time, depending on how the rest of this cycle plays out. But the idea here is if I was to get in because I just couldn't help myself, I have to be comfortable. I have to understand that massive drawdowns can happen against me. This is about 65% drawdown from the high. So if I'm buying in at the absolute tops, then I have to be able to understand and stomach maybe a 30% to a 65% drawdown, potentially even more. But as long as you have that in your plan and you're ready for that, then that might be an opportunity for you. But just the vertical line here is what I'm getting at. I haven't seen one go this vertical for some time besides Axie Infinity. The vertical line isn't the best time, in my opinion. Long term, I definitely like it. I've said that many, many times. But for me, I need to see some sort of correction, some sort of area to give me support before I jump into the market again. Reason being is if we see the market continue up from this point, the returns just get so much less. For me to get anything like 100%, I got to get to $160. And for a lot of people, the guys in Patreon included and the Investor Accelerator, obviously I mentioned, links to that are down below. We were talking about that back down here as the market was breaking through some of these resistance levels and some swings at around $28 to $30. That was at the July lows. This was at the time where I wasn't interested in Thetas and Matic and all these other cryptos, more like FTT and Sol, because of what I was seeing in the charts and also on their Bitcoin chart as it was holding up on the 50% levels, which is also very strong. Looking at some price targets further north for FTT in the short term, potentially around $100, which is the 161%, so around a 102. That's of the whole range. And then there was the $125, which is 2 times the entire range here. And if we keep getting a little more hopium into the market, the next level's up around 361. So we're just going to turn that on the chart. There it is. $227. So there are a lot of targets further up, but as you can see, the returns from this point at $80, it's up to you whether that's worth the risk. But for me, I definitely like buying it at least on some sort of pullbacks. For guys that have been following the channel, you know we've got SwiftX links down below, $10 free Bitcoin for the Aussies when you're signing up. This has been the portfolio. You've probably tracked the progress on the channel. Solana, ADA, FTT, and I have a little USD in here. I bought FTT several weeks back and used up more of that USD. I like that, having a little bit of USD in the account just in case. It's currently at around 20,500 USD, and this count started at 10,000. We got in around those peaks in February, so only up about 100%, but either way, I still like the look of that, especially with these stronger horses, Solana, ADA, FTT. You can find this on SwiftX for the Aussies. Link to it is down below, $10 free Bitcoin if you use that link. Last thing is Solana. I did say I would talk about it. The video has gone very, very long, so I'll make a quick mention to Solana at the moment and do another video following up on that, probably tomorrow at this stage. Just wanted to look at the price targets here because we have just been crushing through these price targets. Next up on the list is $210, being the 361.8% Fibonacci of this major range. So another one of our strong horses. The range that I'm using is the major. It was the all-time low to the previous all-time high. And what has continued to work here and why I continue to use it is because the market continues to react off these levels. Now, it's not going to look like much to maybe the untrained eye, but the fact that a very, very strong market was even paused, we're on a daily chart, paused at these levels and found something shows me that this range is still working very, very well. And so the next move up was at 200%, so that was around $116. You can see the market closed underneath it for 3 days, even though it spiked above it. And then we got to the 261%, little rejection, couple of days under before we took off again, currently sitting at the 300% level. So I'm going to continue to use this range until we put a top in. It just seems to be working extremely well. And of course, that's where I'm getting my next points from, around 210. Now, of course, it doesn't have to hit there, but this is just to give me some sort of guide so that I can continue following up with my stop loss orders or whatever it is that I choose to do. You know, if I'm getting in extremely late, then I want to reduce my risk and understand where some of the price pressure points could be. But I'll leave it there for Solana today. I know I didn't go through it as much as I would like to, but at this point, I'm just looking at price targets and then also following it up with my swings, which I'm talking about with the guys in the Investor Premium Group, the Investor Accelerator Premium Group. You can find a link to that down below. This is part of the course to learn how to swing trade. So you can find the links to that down below. You guys, if you're interested in Patreon, again, links to that are down below. Check it out. The first round was completely sold out, so thank you very much, guys, over there. Appreciate your support in the video today and the videos on the channel. Like the video up if you found some value, and subscribe to the channel. You can always unsubscribe later if you get annoyed with me for some sort of reason. I'll see you on Instagram and on Twitter, or I'll see you at tomorrow's video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.